a week ago, and it came into light only just about 2 days ago. Apart from that, there are so many questions because initially the officials said that there was no unusual activity, no cash was found. And look at the visuals on the screen now. They show the wads of cash that had been found, burned cash at a judge's residence. And that's the reason you mentioned he's a sitting judge. And that's all the more reason why these questions continue. Where is this cash coming from? What was it meant for? It's clearly unaccounted cash. He claims that he had no information about it. Now, on the question of what the Supreme Court has said, the Supreme Court says that he was transferred to the Allahabad High Court, but it was unrelated to the case. Then look at the statement that has come in from the Delhi High Court Chief Justice. He says very clearly that the transfer was taken up because the Supreme Court said so. This is why these questions come in. Kapil Sankhla, do you agree that with what he has said, that there is absolute transparency? Why are we even questioning it? But look at the details of the case. They very clearly show that there are different versions coming in from different agencies.
Right. Just give me 1 minute now, please. If these allegations are false, then they undermine judiciary. Then they question why people have been after a particular judge or judiciary in question. But if this issue, what has happened, is correct, and the wads of notes have been found out, then please understand what would have happened if those notes were found in your house, in the house of any minister, in the house of any IAS officer. What action would have been taken? And if no FIR had been registered, in 24 hours, the Commissioner of Police perhaps might have been hauled up. There would have been public outcry. You would be praying for the blood of that IAS officer, that minister, that common man, whosoever. And therefore I say this, that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. What is good for A is also good for B. It does not matter whether you're a judge, whether you're an IAS officer, whether you're a minister, whether you're a politician. But we are all scared, aren't we? That there is contempt of court, that I might say something or you might say something and we might be hauled up in court. And so we have to be very careful, including Mr. Jain, including Mr. Sankhla, because we are all afraid to question any act of judiciary. And now the second point of my argument. The concerned person denied there was any cash till videos and photographs were released. The Honorable Supreme Court stated in the beginning, saying that nothing of this sort happened and that we are transferring him to Allahabad, disjointed to these allegations. Now, these unfortunately, supposedly, as far as I know, looking at what has been shown here and what you have said, has been turned out to be false. In such a case, in any criminal case, and Mr. Jain would also agree, that an opportunity is given to an accused at any stage to make a statement.
Yes.
And if that statement is turned out to be false, then that is one of the, so to say, the nail in his coffin, as to say that he lied when an opportunity was given him to explain a certain fact.
Absolutely.
Now, the third part of it, very, very quickly.
Go on.
That as far as law is concerned, you cannot keep more than X, if I'm not mistaken, 20,000 or whatever, or any reasonable amount of money. And if cash is found, strict action will be taken against you, de-horse whether you can explain that cash or not.
The High Court Chief Justice says very clearly that this action was taken after the Supreme Court had said it. And this is a note from the 21st. So look at the timeline of events. Now the Supreme Court says that it was unrelated. But the note from the Delhi High Court Chief Justice on the 21st says very clearly that the transfer took place after the Supreme Court had asked him to be transferred, which means that there was information of the cash that was found at his residence. That was an inquiry that was to be ordered. And yet the action that was chosen to be taken was a mere transfer, nothing else.
You're absolutely right. And also Mr. Jain is right that usually sending somebody to his parent High Court is more of a reward than a punishment. And as much as I have absolute faith in Justice Verma, because I've appeared before him, I believe that he's a person of high integrity. But the question is that recently there were allegations about the CBI case where his name perhaps cropped up. I'm not too sure, but this is the rumor mill that had told me. Also, there were strong questions as to the seniorship that took place in the High Court, where he was one of the relevant players, so to say, a deciding factor, and much questions had been raised. So once you have three disconnected allegations against a judge, then merely by holding an inquiry and transferring him to another court perhaps would not be the correct optics as far as punishing or challenging a person's conduct is concerned. Now, you're absolutely right that if it would have happened against, and let's say what happens with this judge is, why not the Chief Justice of the High Court permit registration of an FIR so proper investigation can take place, as would have taken place against everybody. I question you this, that if Justice Verma is above board, just like Caesar's wife, and I believe that he is, then why shy away and why try to brush it under the carpet? Because the moment you do that, the fear of common man comes true, that perhaps judiciary is now below and not above the moral turpitude that we're facing all over the nation.
Absolutely. Like we've been saying time and again, this is not about this one particular case, but this is going to raise questions on the entire judiciary, and which is why exemplary action should be taken after an investigation into the same. Atul Jain and Kapil Sankhla, thank you for joining us with your